Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to the 1010 Studios Urban Music Collaboration Artist Edition. My name is Terrence. I'm your humble host today. And today we have the wonderful Robyn Springer, a
Yeah,
singer, performer, and all around great artist. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you. Very well, thank you for having me.
Yes, you're quite welcome. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule. And we're just going to go get right into it. We want to let the people know who you are and what you do. So,
hmm
since you are a singer, when did you start singing? How long has it been since you can remember singing?
I started singing as a toddler. Actually, I was 3 years old, and my grandmother lived with us. She was from Charleston. She came up north years before, and but she had that homegrown church atmosphere she put us in. And I used to sing all the time with the television, the commercials and whatever was on. And she knew that I was always singing as a baby. She told my mom, she said, "Hey, this little girl is singing."
Mm,
So she said, "I'm going to teach her a song. She's going to sing in front of the congregation."
okay.
So she taught me a song, and I've been singing ever since.
Cool, cool, cool. So, young age, 2 years old, 3 years old. That must have been interesting. Now,
Yeah,
did
yeah.
you try to put you in front of everybody when you got the chance, a birthday party, a church service, things like that?
She did it at one of her I think it was at her choir, one of her choir anniversaries. It was an event. I do remember it was something going on
Hmm.
because all the church mothers were there. I was really little, but I remember not wanting to disappoint her. I remember saying, "Okay, I got to do it like I did it in the house." It's how a child thinks. And the song she taught me, I still remember it. And I sang it, and I kind of I knew the feeling that I got from how proud she was of me, and I was able to sing for the people and they liked it.
Hmm.
it that's when I just started always singing.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now you're a singer. Now, are you also a songwriter? Do you play any instruments?
I used to play piano. I took piano lessons for years, and it gave me a really good ear, to have almost perfect pitch and that kind of thing. And but I wanted to hold that mic, so I didn't, I didn't pursue it. I really wanted to be out front, and I wanted to sing, so I let it go.
Cool, cool. Yeah,
hmm
since learning an instrument can help you with your performances overall,
Yeah.
singing and things like that, and understand
hmm
how song flow works, melodies, things like that. So,
hmm
have you had a idea to get back to playing the piano?
No, because I'm known now as vocalist. I'm a lead vocalist now, so that's kind of, I get my piano play from, but I do collaborate. The other question, answer to your other question, I can write lyrics and definitely make musical vocal arrangements like that. I can collaborate on my own. I don't come up with songs by myself though.
Okay, okay, good enough. Sometimes you focus on one thing, but you're dabbling with this, dabbling a little bit of that. That's
Right.
cool. Now, tell us about an experience that you may have had that helped you to, inspire you to get to the next level in your singing career.
Well, everything started. I knew right away, and I knew as a young person that's what I wanted to do on some level. Um, when I was in high school, well, I went to the performing arts school. I want to live forever, in Manhattan, and so I was around a lot of other kids that could sing, that could play instruments. That were everybody around you talented. So it was really a great experience to just be around that group. It was like the ultimate I fit in, kind of thing. And one day someone came and asked us to uh, get into the recording studio and do some recording for a commercial or something they had us do. I can't remember what it was. But I remember being in that studio and being so excited about it. And at the end of it, they paid us. And I was like, oh, yeah, this
That's
this
it.
work out. This could work out. So I was, happy to be a part of it, and I had been in a professional studio, and I couldn't be more than 16 at the time, and then and there, I said, I'm gonna try to make this happen.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool, cool. And as you were kind of in that phase of your life, being 16, 15, 16, who are some of the, I guess, singers, musicians, artists, bands, if any, that kind of influenced you?
I have to say, back then it was the influence of my older brother who was a little difficult, and but I had a musical ear like an adult. I mean, I loved everything. I listened to the radio constantly, so I like. And back then, they played a lot of everything on the radio station. And the music was different. My brother had all the Earth, Wind, and Fire, and he was listening to the Commodores, and I was real little, and I was trying to listen to what he was listening to, and I started listening at an early age to those groups that my brother was into because he had those records and he played them a lot. But then as I got older, I really started paying attention to the vocalists, and I know it's cliche, people always say it, but I tell you, Aretha Franklin inspired me to sing for real.
Okay.
And I just loved her. And then I like a lot of male vocalists. I love Peabo Bryson, and I love Marvin, and then Luther, and then later on it was Maxwell, and as of late, of course, Anthony Hamilton. A lot of male vocalists I really do like, and then female vocalists, once again, old school. You can't forget Gladys and Patty. Those ladies meant the world listening to them as well. And then moving on up to today, I really like Jasmine Sullivan. I like Bill Scott. I like a real bona fide vocalist.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, Jill Scott definitely has a strong, very unique voice, and she can just belt it out from the low to the high to the
Yeah,
deep, all the
yeah.
way around.
Her attitude, she just comes at it like, what? This is the
Hmm.
song. Fine. I don't care who did it before me or whether it's my song. She just takes that song, and I love her style, how she just goes for it.
Yeah. And what drives you to do what you do? Is it, a couple of different things? Is it just the fact that you love to sing? What drives you?
Um, well, I do love to sing. I'm strong in my astrology. I am a Libra, so I'm very heartfelt and very um, um, I guess deep thinking. And music takes me different places. You know what I mean? The type of music I might want to listen to. If I want to be nostalgic, I'm gonna listen to some old school. If I want to be inspired, I might put on some gospel. If I don't want to think, I'll play instrumentals. Music is a major part of my life. I'm listening to music more than I watch TV. When I'm cooking, I have music on. When I'm in the house doing whatever I'm doing, I'm also a visual artist as well. I do mosaic art and other things like that. So when I'm working with my hands, music is always on. It's always on in my car. It's just something that I always do. So it inspires me all the time to listen to music. So when I get to perform and sing, that's me expressing the music inside of me, and I just kind of sing my heart out, and I want to touch people and have them feel what I'm feeling when I'm singing, and I try to do that in my music.
Yeah, it sounds like your music to set the mood that you're in, which is typically what it does anyway.
Yeah,
Sometimes, you might have a playlist for this or for that, or might have a montage of songs. Just play whatever you want. And if I don't like it, I'll skip it because I
yeah.
have that for the car, especially. Taking a long drive, you just don't want to listen to the same old playlist. You want to rotate a little bit. So that's good.
With streaming and with
Hmm.
and because it does cater to what you like instead of being at the mercy of the radio stations, which
Right.
yeah, but not anymore. So I miss a lot of new stuff, but I kind of like the old stuff better anyway. So
Well, it depends upon what you grew up on, what you're used to.
yeah,
Now, depending upon the, uh, I guess you could say the decade that you was raised in,
yeah,
the music was totally different from, let's say, back in the 70s, 80s to the 90s and the 2000s, and now
yeah,
the later 2000s. It's totally, totally different.
totally. I like what some of the newer artists are doing with some of the older music and rebuilding it and using it to make something new. I can appreciate some of it. I can. And I go, hey, I know that. And I was trying to figure out what did they
Mm.
sample that. I like going, hey, okay, you did something right with that. Okay. You
Yeah, I
know,
think one artist that makes me think back a little bit, like he has that kind of funk and soul, is Anderson Paak. Uh,
yeah.
his music, his band, and his style is like so funk and 70s and kind of 80s, but still new enough to
Yeah,
keep your attention.
right. You know who else I like the way Jaheim took some of that old '70s music and incorporated into his into some of his singles and really like, oh, he did that. Okay, I like what he did with these as well.
And it's always interesting to hear some songs on the radio, or like a commercial, and you know the original is not what they're playing now, but it takes you back to what it
Right.
once was. And some kids would be like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool," whatever the case is. Yeah, well, here's the original. And they
Oh,
listen to like,
I love to do that to them. Like, oh, you don't even understand.
right.
You don't know where this came from. I mean, when Jaheim did you know, I choose you, baby. You know that he
Mhm.
did. It was an old, really. I don't even remember. Of course, I don't remember it because I was too young. But it was the artist's name was Willie Hutch,
Mhm.
and had that the horns.
Right.
But his version was, of course, slower. Jaheim like made the song drive
Mhm.
and hook. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. There's a lot of, I guess, the current singers and musicians who study and have grown up on some of the music, and they can
Mhm.
say, I want to pay homage to this band, this song, this era, and let me do what I can. And it's
Right.
good that it keeps it alive, because if we don't appreciate it like we do books and history and things like that,
Right.
it's just going to go to the wayside. And it's some good music.
Yeah, it is. It's excellent. It's one, and I'm still discovering. There's some stuff I've never heard. I'm like, when was this made? And I find out how old it is. I'm like, wow, fall in love with it. Like, how did this happen? There's still a lot to discover.
Good music is good music. It has no age, no kind of expiration date on good music. So,
Right, right.
so we're going to take a quick little break. We're going to play the video to kind of give the people a little bit of what you do, and then we'll come right back.
All right.
I can't say no. It's here as you wanna be, my baby. No, I don't want nobody kissing you but me. No, baby, 'cause you are my starship, oh baby, oh tonight. And don't you say you are my starship. Won't you take me tonight? And don't be late. And don't come too
Welcome back, everyone. Once again, my name is Terrence, and I have here Robyn Springer, singer extraordinaire, lead singer. And speaking of that, have you done any kind of background work with, any artists, any bands that was kind of notable that you can think of?
Yeah. The Fugees, John Forte, he just passed away. I did that song Harmonize with him.
Okay.
That was great. That was back in the day. I was surprised to hear of his death and saddened about it because he was cool. When I worked with him back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Definitely a big influence on the culture and the music industry in general.
And I worked with Najee as well. I was on Najee's album, a title track called "Sometimes Pain."
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. And have you had things of your own that you put out that we can, check out and stream and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. I did an acoustic album with a dear friend of mine named Greg Cagle, and it's 70% a cover album, but we did some original music on that album. It actually generated a music channel on Pandora,
Okay.
the Springer Cable acoustic project. And recently, I put out a remake of the "If I Can't Have You" with producer Chris Clay on independent music.
Okay.
So that was most recently. I did another single with producer Rodney Shelton. And I think I may have sent that to you, but you can definitely see all my videos are on YouTube, online, and all that.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely have to provide those links in the show notes, things like that. And y'all need to check it out. because she's a powerhouse. I've seen it in person.
Yeah.
Play with it.
Yeah.
Now, was there any project that made you kind of nervous to do? That made you kind of say,
I was nervous about that John Forte because he was a rapper, you
mm,
know. Also, wait, let me take it back. Let me take it back. Way back. I'm showing my age, but I'm proud, to be alive and be a part of this for so long. But back in the day in the day with Babe, day in the day with Babe.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
way
word. Okay. All
some
right.
original hip hop. Yes, yes, original hip hop way back when. So, but I was saying that the John Forte, I was a little reluctant because he was rapping and he was saying some things that I just was like, I can't get with that, and I felt a little bad about it because I kind of made him change his lyric, but it made me feel better because I just was very sensitive about what was being said about women in rap at the time, and it was getting a little derogatory.
Hmm.
And like, I will not sit here and sing, and you're saying certain things about women, and the woman in the song is me. So I had to kind of fight for that. I can't be even slightly disrespected in any kind of way in your rap. So you're gonna have to clean this up. And it wasn't like horrifying, but I just knew that my mama and my family was listening, and I was just like, can't have it. I was just that old school, and you know what? He was a gentleman. He fixed it, and he made it palatable for me. And it was good. It worked out.
Well, that's good. I mean, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything.
Exactly.
Might as well stand up for what you believe for yourself. Because some people say, you know what, if you're not going to change this, or if we can't come to a common ground, then I just want to be part of the project. That's all.
And it was already, I had already recorded it. It was great, and but it was just a couple of lines. I was like, dude, I can't. And he changed it too. I'll always appreciate it.
Cool, cool. So, what's next for you? What's next for the people to kind of see, other than like, so I know that you do for live bands and live shows, things like that. Do you have anything that's coming out like a project of yours that you're working on?
Yes, I'm working on another acoustic project with my partner Greg Cagle. He plays guitar, and we write songs together. I'm going to do one more acoustic project. We're just about done with that. And right now, I'm really enjoying playing live. I'm gaining more interest from the people around me in the area that I live. And I would like to expand on that and maybe take my shows on the road. Recently, I mean, people like to hear what's familiar to them, I will say. There's a way, I mean, introducing new music is always great, and I'm all for new music. But at the same time, when you're a live player, people sort of connect when you're singing their favorite song a lot of times. So sometimes I may have to do an entire show based on an artist
Mhm.
that people love. And recently I did Anita Baker, and it was wonderful. We had a great time. And previous to that, I had the privilege of doing a show about it was the music of Phyllis Hyman and Angie Goldfish. They're long gone. No one's playing their music right now, but we love that stuff.
Right, right.
They're not here to sing it, so I'll gladly. So we put together a nice show featuring the music of those two giants, and like I said, we had a wonderful time. I may do that one again, and then I've done the music of Sade. I mean, it's just enjoyable to do that music. It's just so much fun. And every now and then, if I could sneak in one of my originals in my shows, um, once my audience is acclimated to what's happening, I can say, "Hey, this is new," and they appreciate it like that. And you know, that's what I'm doing right now. Just mainly getting out there and performing more and finishing that album.
That's good. That's good. Now, since you mentioned that you do a lot of shows and you do other artists, things like that for covers and stuff like that, what is your take on, I guess you can say, AI generated music, AI remixing of music? That's something that's already been made. What's your take on that? New, because that's very new, and I got some feelings, and just want to see where you stand on that.
I'm kind of scared because, and the reason why I'm scared is because some of that stuff sounds so good. It really does. especially when they mimic a soul artist.
Okay.
I'm going, who is that guy? The guy doesn't exist. But why he sound like Dennis Evans from the Temptations? You know, why is this lady sounding, like Jennifer Hudson or what have you? It's a little scary because we're here live, but the thing with AI is as long as humans are still creating, our minds are still going to be, it's something new. They're pulling from something old.
Right.
We're still coming with something new because our minds are real. Our minds are living, breathing, feeling souls. So as long as we can still write, I think we can combat some of that. And if it's important enough to us, we're going to still keep coming up with new stuff, a new idea. A new idea comes from a brain, a new person.
Right.
So we'll have to offset some of that. I feel bad for some of the producers because it's so easy to just. I mean, a friend of mine told me about a song, an idea that a guy had about a guy on a roof who was working too hard, and that he was going to hurt himself if he kept doing this roofing job, and he wanted it in a country genre, and it was a heartfelt song. In 20 seconds, the song was made, and the song was beautiful. It sounded like Garth Brooks or something like that. And I said, well, what are the producers going to do? And I said, well, they're going to have to keep up with this and keep producing and keep coming up with new stuff. It's the only way.
Yeah, I saw some, videos and, heard some experiences and, poked around a little bit. I'm like, yeah, the music sounds pretty decent. The vocals are the vocals. I mean, you can, whatever. The words, though, for like the new songs, if they say, hey, make a song about, whatever, and they come up with some lyrics, I'm like, you know what? That sounded pretty doggone good. The lyrics made sense. And it's like, so songwriters, producers, now musicians, they'll be able to play pretty much anything. You hear the song enough times, you learn it, whatever. But those music makers, songwriters, studios for that matter,
Yeah.
watch out.
It's going to be different. But here's the thing, for someone like me, and in this area, they're not going to be able to touch it because people do like live music.
Right.
They want to hear live. Now, you make a record and it's a ghost of a singer or what have you. Well, how are we going to enjoy this at the concert? You see what I mean? So there's something, I don't know how we're going to do that. If you're going to do a hologram or somebody, that's not going to work. People want to hear, they want to see somebody out there. They want people to talk to them.
Right.
They want to engage. They want to sing along. Live music is we still have that.
Right, and still need it.
I don't know how AI is going to compete with a live band and real music, a festival, a concert, whatever it is, even something as small as a wedding or a gathering. How are we going to do that?
Well, I'm thinking these kind of songs or productions of sorts can be useful from a commercial standpoint, not like a record or album, maybe a commercial. If they want to write a jingle, hey, write me a jingle about this, side, and that. Boom, it comes out. So they don't have to pay a whole production crew just to come up with a 30-second or 20-second song. So I can see that being feasible, but from a music standpoint, like an artist version or, personable type of interaction, yeah, it's got to be people coming from the heart, coming from the soul, coming from your experiences to relate what you feel. And of course, someone else is going to kind of gravitate towards it. So
exactly. But I've noticed that the commercial jingles, when I do watch TV every now and then, I have seen where I heard one, it was jazzy. It sounded just like Ella Fitzgerald. Mm-hmm. It was like scatting and doing that. And I was like, that's AI. It's just no way.
For it.
They found this lady that sounded like Ella that's getting it in. Mm-hmm. And I said, I can see that the jingle industry, they could, how that goes when they come up with music for stuff. It was already dying out because people were using samples and not really doing it like back in the day. But for now, forget about it. I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what's some of the words of encouragement for the next generation of singers, performers, creators? What kind of words of encouragement do you have for them to do what they do?
Be true to yourself. Sometimes I notice that the artists try to mimic each other, and after a while, y'all all sound alike, or songs don't sound different. The songs are starting to blend into each other. Come out, be different. Unique in what you do. Find what's inside of you. What the gifts that God gave us. We all have our gift, and we all have our music gift, and it's not going to be the same as the next person. And your gift is a unique thing. It's inside of you. Let what's inside of you come out. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing, or whether it sounds like this one, or whether it's good enough to match that one. Be you, because when people hear something that's different and unique that they like it, they're gonna like that for that sound. But be true to yourself. I would always say, don't try to be anybody else, because at the end of the day, we already got that person. We need you. We need that new person.
I like that. We need you. We
Yeah,
don't need just the other person. We need you also because
right.
everyone has their own lane and such like that.
Exactly.
That's,
Exactly.
that's good. I love it.
Hmm.
Listen, I appreciate you taking time in your schedule to hang out with us. We look forward to much more coming from you. You guys check her out, check us out. Make sure you link up with her on social media, with us on social media, and just, let everybody know who she is and who we are. So until next time, stay tuned and stay blessed.